Are you mechanically declined and you want to become mechanically inclined? What tools do you need and how do you use them? Having a tool does not make you mechanically inclined, but without tools, it's hard to get anything done. In previous videos, we showed the basics of wrenches, plumbing tools, hammers, and other tools. In this video, we're going to look at the basics of wood cutting tools. This will be about hand tools, not power tools. We want you to learn the basics first. Then using power tools will be the next level, and it'll be easier to understand. But that's going to be a future video. Now, there are many wood cutting tools that fall into the category of hand tools. All of them have the same principle of removing material in a controlled way. We're going to be covering the two types that you're going to find in your local home store: chisels and saws. Drills also can be found in the local home store, but we're going to cover those in the video on power tools because, quite frankly, you can't really find any hand-operated drills anymore. Stick around to the end of the video to learn what other materials these tools are useful for. First, a note for safety. All cutting tools remove material that has the possibility to hurt you. Safety glasses, cut-resistant gloves, face shields, and other personal protective equipment can and will be needed when using these tools. If in doubt of what's needed, consult the tool's manufacturer's instructions. Now, the principles of using a wood cutting tool are best shown in a chisel. Wood cutting chisels use a sharp edge to cut into the wood. Now, the parts of the wood chisel are the blade with its cutting edges, neck and tang, a handle, and possibly a steel hoop or a steel button at the end. I covered the basics of sharpening cutting tools in our video, DIY Basics, Maintaining Tools, Sharpening Cutting Tools. There's a link in the description below and in the cards above. The ways to cut into wood with a chisel include doing a mortise cut, shaving the wood, removing chunks of wood, and chiseling a groove in wood. Now, a mortise cut can be as simple as a recess for a hinge or the rectangular shape of a door latch or lock. It's no mystery. You can make a square hole in wood using a chisel. To start a mortise, outline the area by making a series of shallow chisel cuts perpendicular to the surface. Don't skip this step. You will definitely regret it. You will risk chipping the wood outside of the mortise. Then remove thin slices by tapping the chisel with a hammer, bevel side down, to carve out the wood inside the cut area. Thin slices are important, even if you're making a deep cut. Otherwise, you may slice out a section of wood outside the mortise area. It may just break out. Now, shaving the wood is just like using a razor to shave hair. Shaving wood is a precision process. In general, when you're shaving into a pocket in the wood, face the bevel surface down flat to the surface of the wood. If the recess is open on one side, like a hinge mortise, flatten the bottom by shaving off thin slices with the backside of the chisel held flat to the wood. So now you need to remove a large amount of wood. Start with cuts from a saw. We're going to show that later in the video. Then remove the rest with a very sharp chisel. It's important. It has to be very sharp. Set the chisel alongside one cut edge and hit it with a hammer. Just like the mortise cut, use thin slices to remove large blocks of wood. But since you've pre-cut the sides, you can take larger slices than a mortise cut. Hit the chisel with a hammer and chop down about 1/2 inch. Then chisel from the end to remove the piece before continuing. Chiseling a groove in wood. This will use the same methods of wood cutting as we've already covered, but use them in a little different manner. This is called a dado cut, and starting with a saw cut on each side, follow up with chiseling out the middle. Just like the mortise cut, thin slices are best. But like removing large chunks of wood, you can take some bigger cuts at times. Now, closely related to a chisel is a wood-cutting hand saw. In fact, a saw could be described as a sheet of metal with hundreds of chisels on the cutting edge. Like chisels, there are many types and sizes of hand saws. They still need to be sharp on the cutting tips. And even though this is kind of an older technology, they really do have their place in any toolkit. Some of the types of wood-cutting hand saws are bow saws, coping saws, back saws, pruning saws, pull saws, dovetail saws, keyhole saws, laminate saw. Now all saws have the same principle of removing material. You push and or pull the teeth through the material, and this cuts out just like a chisel does. Most hand saws will cut in a straight line, but the smaller, thinner ones can also turn corners, and a coping saw is designed to make square corners in thick wood. You want a good selection of types of saws, chisels, files, gouges, carving tools, planes, and other wood cutting tools. Amazon is a good starting point. Craft stores are another source. All of those hand tools use the same principles that we showed here. Now, what else can you do with these tools? There are many different materials that are best cut with wood cutting tools as opposed to with metal cutting tools. Some were wood at one time and they've been remanufactured into a new form, and others are made from other sources. There's fiberboard, acrylic plastic, polycarbonate, ABS plastic, nylon, FRP, fiberglass reinforced plastic panels, and many more. There are even some metals, really soft metals, that actually work better if you use wood cutting tools with them. This has been a basic how-to of using wood cutting hand tools. If you found this helpful and you know of others who are mechanically declined, please share it with them. If there's a type of tool that you would like to learn how to use, leave a comment below. We do videos every week to help you know how to use tools and make things.
Thanks for watching our video. If you like what you see, press the like button below and subscribe. And also check out our other videos.